My name is Dr. Tom Rofrano from the Natural Medicine Clinic in Palm Beach Gardens, Florida, and today I'm going to talk to you about healing adrenal fatigue, part 3. In case you missed the first 2 videos, just to give you a brief rundown. So, adrenal fatigue is a term used to describe over time when you're under periods of stress. It could be physical, chemical, or mental stress. And eventually your adrenals, which are those glands responsible for putting out hormones that are responsible for handling stress and a lot of other things, start to wear down, get fatigued. So they call it adrenal fatigue, adrenal dysfunction, HPA axis dysfunction, adrenal insufficiency. There's a number of different terms, but bottom line is it can make you feel really exhausted, lack of focus, brain fog, insomnia, anxiety, depression. It can affect your thyroid. You can get dizziness, especially when you're standing up quickly. Just really feeling run down and just overwhelmed is another feeling, and just waking up throughout the night. So there's a lot of different symptoms that go along with this. And in the first video, we talked about how getting enough sleep, getting the right type of sleep can really help. And that includes going to bed by 10 o'clock ideally every night and getting 7 to 8 hours of sleep, going to bed the same time every night, getting up the same time in the morning. So refer back to that video for some tips on that. And the second video talked about the proper types of exercise. So if you're feeling tired, exhausted, and having this adrenal fatigue, you don't want to go out and train for a marathon and then have to rely on coffee, caffeine, energy drink, these intense energy drinks and coffee and sugar just to get you through your training days. So there's a certain type of exercise that can really be helpful. And today we're going to address diet and why that's important. So 2 things that can really make this a whole lot worse that you want to avoid are sugar and caffeine. So by that I mean, so what happens is when you are tired, just feeling drained, you kind of crave sugars to keep you going, and you crave caffeine so you can just function and focus and even get through the day. But in the short term, you can feel better, but in the long term, it can really make you feel a lot worse. To give you an example, not too long ago, a 37-year-old man came in to see us, and he was just feeling really tired, couldn't sleep well at night, brain fog, he just had trouble focusing, and even though he trains, he was at the gym every day and training really hard, he couldn't lose any weight. So that was really frustrating for him. So after doing the proper evaluation and testing, one of the things going on with him was this adrenal fatigue. And it turns out, as far as, he thought, he exercised well, he had a healthy diet, he thought, but he was having to drink at least 6 cups of coffee a day just to function physically and mental focus. He was craving sugar. He thought he had a healthy diet, but was eating, which we'll get into in a minute, he was eating too many carbs, too many starches. So we turned that around. We went over we refined his diet, got him on the right supplements, the right types of exercise, sleep, lifestyle changes. And when in the first month, lost 10 pounds, was able to focus and concentrate better, his energy came back, was able to sleep through the night, and he's continued to make steady improvements since then. So there are definite solutions for this, and as far as the diet goes, what I'm going to talk about is, first of all, fasting and avoiding eating for periods of time can really push you into hypoglycemia. So if you have adrenal fatigue, things like intermittent fasting that's so popular these days just really doesn't work, because you have a tendency towards this low blood sugar, these blood sugar swings. So you really want to make sure when you get up in the morning, you're eating a breakfast that's has enough protein and fat in it. And same thing for lunch and dinner. So lunch, you want to make sure you're eating meat, chicken, fish, about 3 to 4 ounces, plenty of vegetables, plenty of healthy fats, olive oil, coconut oil, avocados, avocado oil, nuts, raw walnuts, walnuts, pecans, macadamia nuts. So a lot of good quality fats, plenty of vegetables, moderate proteins, and you want to avoid also snacking all day long. I mean, one of the things is when you're tired, you feel like you need energy, so people feel like they keep having to eat. But if you have a good, decent breakfast, lunch, and dinner with plenty of protein, fats, fiber, vegetables, then that can really help keep you sustained and keep you from having those swings. So the ideal breakfast, what I usually recommend initially is a smoothie, because with this, first of all, it just takes a few minutes to make. So even people that don't have time for breakfast, they just run out of the house with 2 or 3 cups of coffee and a bagel or something like that. just they say they don't have time. Well, you can easily make a smoothie in just a few minutes. As a matter of fact, we have another video on YouTube on our channel if you want to check that out. It's called my 3-minute super smoothie, and it's just loaded with again, protein, fiber, fruits and vegetables, healthy fats, and it's just really sustaining, filling, and cleansing at the same time. So check that out. And then, so that's for breakfast. And then lunch and dinner, like I said, protein, vegetables, a lot of healthy fats. And this is part of a diet that I came up with called the free diet, because it's free of all the common allergens, food sensitivities, inflammatory foods. And it's based on just over many years of doing so many different allergy and food sensitivity testing on patients. So this is a diet that's free of all those common allergens like gluten, grains, yeast, sugar, soy, corn, dairy, legumes, GMOs, yeast. So there's a certain method to it. There's different phases, but we'll get into that in another video. But for right now, for adrenal fatigue, what you need to focus on is just eliminating the sugar and the coffee, and instead you can again do the 3 solid meals like I talked about. To get off coffee, what you can do is have some green tea instead. It still has some caffeine, but it's not nearly as much. Or the product I mentioned to you in the past, we have a natural energy drink called Elevex that has coffee bean extract in it, so it's a much more gradual release of caffeine, and has plenty of vitamins, minerals, amino acids, things that actually are very sustaining and help support your adrenals, instead of those energy drinks that have hundreds of milligrams of caffeine and sugar and artificial colorings and all that. So that's another way that can help you get off caffeine. So if you have any other questions, comments, things you'd like me to cover, just feel free to leave a comment below, and keep an eye out for my future videos. I'm going to go over additional steps to healing adrenal fatigue and other health topics. So I'm looking forward to seeing you next time, and thanks so much for joining me today.